Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. Welcome to Floating in Dreams. Today we are going to be talking about my top 5, bottom 5 products by Essence. So let's get started. Welcome if you're new here. Welcome if you're a returning visitor. Thank you so very much for joining me today. Today we are going to be talking about Essence, which is a brand that you see me chatting about quite a bit here on the channel. Because if you don't know what this channel is all about, hi, my name is Maaike. I live in the Netherlands. I love doing eyeshadow palette content as well as reviewing Essence and Catrice products. I do videos every single time these two brands update their lines, which they do twice a year. And then I like to come on here and chat to you about things that worked and didn't. I do updates on those first impression reviews. I do lots of reviews over on my blog in the meantime as well, as I'm putting products in Shop My Stashes and really try them out. Because I also like getting the use out of my products, which is why this top 5, bottom 5 video is definitely, I think if you've been with me for a while, that you're going to see these things coming. Because as much as I love trying Essence and Catrice products, they can be quite hit and miss. And especially with Essence, I feel there are sometimes more misses than there are hits. Not gonna lie. And I think that by now, if you've seen some of my recent Essence update videos, so when I do my first impression videos trying out their new products, that I'm not overly positive about a lot of the things that they do. So I think that people coming fresh into these videos may be a bit surprised that I'm quite critical of the things that they have to offer and that I'm not more overjoyed when it comes to these new makeup products. It's just that I like to keep it real. I don't like to overhype things, and a lot of Essence products are okay. They're fine. If you're on a budget and you need makeup, they're a good brand to go to. But as someone like me who's got a larger makeup collection, who's been trying makeup for years, I know that a lot of the products in Essence's line just aren't all that. And I am just someone who prefers to pay a little bit more and get better quality makeup, if that's the case, than buy loads and loads of cheap things. One of the reasons why I love trying Essence though is because they are very affordable, and when you find that gem, it's a true gem. So that's where this video is coming in. So let me get started. We're doing bottom 5 first, and then we'll do the top 5. And I think that the point where we need to start when it comes to Essence and bottom 5 products is their foundation, and then especially their shade ranges. Essence do some really lovely textures and formulas in their line. Like I said, they are very affordable, but their shade ranges are absolutely atrocious. Now, I like the Pretty Natural foundation, don't get me wrong. This is still in my makeup collection. I like going back to this for full face of Essence videos, but I think that I've never really tried a foundation from Essence that I was like, right, this is spot on, great shade, great formula, it ticks all the boxes for me. I've tried quite a few of them from Essence in the past, but very often they only do 4 or 5 shades that don't go anywhere beyond beige. So unless you're like a medium skin tone, they really don't have a lot to offer. I think this is the first time they did a shade range where they did a more inclusive one where it's 31 shades. But here's the catch. Essence as well as Catrice are saying that due to not having enough real estate in physical stores, still in store you can only find about 5 or 6 shades of this foundation. So there's no way to swatch it. Yes, they offer 31 shades, but you're gonna have to go online for it, which I think is a bit of a shame actually. I wish that they would just invest, get more real estate. However, that is more easier said than done, and this is why it's important to know that I live in the Netherlands. The Netherlands is just not a country that is renowned for makeup. Yes, we have a couple of very Insta and YouTube famous influencers like Nikki Tutorials, of course, but in a way, marketing wise, the Netherlands is very much like makeup desert. It's just not a thing. Most people who walk down the street wear no more than a bit of mascara. That's I believe the only product that does really well. So we get a lot of mascara launches, but other than that, the Netherlands is just a bit of a makeup no man's land, really. which is why brands don't really invest in making sure that we get a lot of the shades. If you go to countries around us, like Germany or the UK, you can very often find much larger stores with much more inclusive shade ranges. So even if the brand has shades, then we very often don't get it. And our stores are very, very small. I think if you were from the US and you've never been to the Netherlands, the one thing that's going to give you the biggest culture shock is how small our shops are, especially if you live more locally and you go to these like inner city, like small drugstores. I mean, they're broom closets compared to like a Target that you go to. Like a city Target is still going to be bigger than the average drugstore in the Netherlands. So it's like one of those things where you're like, really? So I wish they would invest in it, but I just don't think it's available, and it's probably very expensive because we just don't have that much space to begin with. And especially for makeup, it's just not like they're gonna give it to diapers instead of makeup if it's a drugstore, I'm sure, because that gets just a lot more sales than makeup does. So I understand why they're doing it, but I just wish that Essence and also Catrice would just do better when it comes to shade ranges, to offering things like at least have the tester in the store. That's one thing that we do get. In the US, you never get testers in drugstores. We always get a tester, so that's lovely. But yeah, then make sure that at least, you know, have smaller bottles and just put them all in, and then have like a QR code where you can go onto a website and buy it instantly. Like if we can make that happen, that would be good. But for now, like this Pretty Natural was okay, I guess. Is this really a bad product? No, but Essence is just a brand that, especially if you have anything deeper than like a MAC NW 25 or 30, you're not gonna find a single shade that's gonna work for you, save for like the odd range or two, and it will not be available in store. It just won't. And I am very much on the other end of the spectrum. I'm very pale. So for me, I always struggle with Essence foundations just being too dark. Even if they have a lighter shade, it's still going to be too yellow, too dark. They don't really do good undertones. They can just do much better because their textures are quite okay. And just to keep that sort of thought going of shade ranges just not being good, so far I've really only found one bronzer ever from Essence that works on my pale skin. And if you are very deep, again, Essence is not your brand because they only usually come out with like 1 or 2 shades. Like their Sun Club range, I think I've looked into that range for like as long as I've been buying makeup, and every single time I would swatch it in store and go like, if I use this, I look like an Oompa Loompa. Like, or it's gonna be very muddy, or it was just way, way, way too dark. This Hello Good Stuff, what's this called again? It's the Matte and Glow Bronzer, and this is in the shade Cocoa Cool. So it's a cool tone bronzer. So this is the first time ever them doing a bronzer that worked for someone like me, which is great. But again, unless you're like a medium skin tone, stay away from their bronzers. Even though the formulas are fine, the shade ranges are just very, very off. I actually tried another bronzer in the past that looked sort of okay, and it was also called something like Cool Something. It wasn't cool tone at all when I put it on, so they really need to work on better shades for their bronzers too. And then Essence lipsticks. I'm just not a fan of Essence lipsticks. I'm gonna say it. I actually ended up decluttering every single Essence lipstick and lip gloss I have ever tried. Now their glosses, if you're looking for a very cheap, affordable gloss, then I'm not sure what their rendition is called right now, but I believe in the past they were called the Shine, Shine, Shine lip glosses. Those are good for the price. I mean, for the price, it's okay. The same with these lipsticks. For how expensive these are, which isn't expensive at all, I think they're $2.99 each, they do good lipsticks. Their shade ranges are sometimes okay, but in the past couple of years, they've also come out with a couple of very questionable shade ranges where you're like, why does this look gray on me? Like, I've tried a lot. Like, I can leave a couple of the reviews I did in a description box down below because it was just not pretty. And a lot of the shade ranges they've come out with in the past 2 years haven't really included a lot of fun shades. They just do all the standard shades that you can buy from every single brand. Who needs another nude lipstick? Because I don't. The same thing goes for this newest rendition that they're doing. This is the Hydra Matte range. And I have to say that formula-wise, this is the least offensive lipstick that Essence has come out with in a long time. All of these shades were pretty on me. The formula is actually quite long wearing. It's quite comfortable on the lips as well. Issue I have with a lot of Essence lipsticks is that if I wear them for the entire day, they just feel a little bit drying on my lips. There's just something in the formula that doesn't really agree with me. But the reason why I don't like these, and why I don't like a lot of my Essence lip products, is the scent. And these, they've decided to give them this fake watermelon, you know, Sour Patch Kids watermelon, Jolly Rancher watermelon, that sort of like candy watermelon fake sort of scent. I just dislike scented makeup, and I feel that if you need to scent it this terribly, then what are you hiding? Like, what are you hiding? So that's another reason why I don't love Essence lipsticks most of the time, is because they just smell funky to me. Like, I don't need my lipsticks to smell like cupcakes or candy or like whatever it is you make them smell like. I just don't tend to like it a lot. There is one shade, let me see if I can find it. This, was it the one I was holding up? No, it's this one. It's 401, which is called Movement. This is one that I'm sort of considering keeping around because it is really pretty. But then again, I have so many other lipsticks in this exact shade that I'm like, do I really need to keep it? And I felt the same way about all of these shades because it's got 4 nudes, 4 like reddish shades. One of them are like more vibrant, like berry leaning shades. They are pretty on. They are really, really gorgeous. But they are so similar to other things that I already have. In formulas, I just prefer much more, and that's why Essence lipsticks are in the bottom 5. Also in the bottom 5, and this again has to do with the fact that the Essence line just has such a big, like very quick turnaround, and that's their skincare. So I'm holding up a couple of the products that I currently have, but I've used and reviewed quite a few Essence skincare products over on the blog in the past couple of years. I try them, I like them, like for like very basic skincare. I'm not exactly sure because I'm not an expert on formulas. I'm not a chemist. I don't know about these things all that much. I just know about the experience of using this. But in terms of like active ingredients, how much it actually does, that's sort of the question I still have with these. Like, I'd love to see people with more of a skincare background to really look into Essence skincare, to really see, is this something that is good or not? Because if I look at the ingredient lists, I can't really find anything that is too offensive. But then again, I'm not an expert, so what do I know? I'm just trying these out, using them, seeing if they set off my sensitive skin. A lot of the products I've tried haven't, so I'm really happy with that. Whether it really does my skin a whole lot of good, I can't really tell. I like some of these things quite a lot, but there's one really big error, and that is that Essence discontinues their skincare products as often as they do their makeup. So you will find a skincare product you love, and by the time you've used it up, you can no longer buy it. Like, what's that with that? Especially with skincare, Essence, you need a bit more longevity in your line. So I really wish that they would just stop discontinuing, especially now that their focus seems to be shifting more towards skincare rather than makeup, because I feel the past 2 or 3 launches they've been doing have been more skincare centered than makeup centered. But then if you release a pretty good moisturizer, keep it in the line so we can keep using it, because especially with skincare, longevity and getting use out of products is far more important, because your skin needs time to get used to a product. And especially for someone like me who has sensitive skin that can be quite reactive if I change up my skincare routine too often, I need my products to like stick around for a while. But yeah, the Sika face cream is actually a really good moisturizer. I like this thing. This is the second bottle of the Hello Good Stuff Herbal Face Mist that I'm using, and it's already like 2/3 of the way gone. I love this stuff. And in their newest lineup, they're doing the Skin Loving Sensitive Face Serum. I loved a lot of the products from the Skin Loving Sensitive line that they did in their makeup line, so I'm curious to see what it will bring to their skincare range. And then finally, we have more of like a skincare makeup hybrid. They've been doing a lot of primers or serum primers or primer serums as part of their Hello Good Stuff line. This is the Glow Serum Primer, hydrating and smooth base with watermelon water and niacinamide. And these I like sometimes as more of a like last step in a skincare routine, but they also work really well as a first step in a makeup routine. This is currently sitting in my makeup drawer rather than my skincare in my bathroom. But yeah, they do some really good things, but it's just like you found something you like and then it's gone. What's up with that? And then finally, a product that I really feel that Essence can do well, but they really struggle with consistency as well, and that is their eyeshadow palettes. So especially eyeshadows, they do some lovely singles, and then some of the singles in the range are really good, whereas others feel a little lackluster. The same thing with their palettes. It's just all a little up and down, and it's very difficult to tell whether something is going to be actually good. So their eyeshadow quality, I feel, is very inconsistent. These are some of the good things. These are the two of the mini palettes that I've kept. The I Like to Mauve It is just a stunning like mauvey tone. I wish this was a plum though rather than a gray. Oh well, you can't have everything, which is why the dancing green one is my favorite, because you do get that darker green rather than something more gray toned. We didn't get all of these here in Europe. There are 4 more out in the US than we can get a hold of. I'd love to try the taupe if I could get my hands on it, or the rose or the nude, but they're not available. And that's, I think, another thing that's very frustrating with Essence, is that they release products and then we in Europe can usually buy them first. But then they release other things in the US and then we don't get them. And it's like everybody's always confused, like what's actually for sale, Essence, because you're so inconsistent also with your launches. So it would be good if Essence could at least like give dates on which products will be available in the US, when things will be coming. Like if they were just a bit more transparent in their communication, I think that would be lovely. But the brand is very much aimed at the German market. You can really tell in terms of like the influencers they choose to do collabs with. A lot of those are German influencers. So I think it's like one of those brands that's, we're available international, but we don't really care about marketing ourselves all that well if it's like not within our main territory. So I feel that that's something that Essence can improve on too. And then we get to the top 5. And with the top 5, I can actually be quite short and sweet, because there aren't like groups of product like I have in the bottom 5, where it's like some of these things might be good, but you just never know. But there are a couple of standout products in the range that I'm then so happy I'm finding. And very often I don't know how good something is unless I've tried it for a while. And that was definitely the case with this. So my first top 5 is the Skin Loving Sensitive Mineral Powder. I bought 3 of these in backups because it seems to already have been discontinued. And I snatched them up from my local drugstore. When I still saw 3, I was like, okay, you're coming home with me. The reason why I love this, it only comes in 1 shade, unfortunately, which is called Translucent, which I don't think is that translucent on most people. I view this as a skin tone powder on myself. Like it's not light enough for it to go with many different skin tones, and it definitely has a bit of a tint to it. It's not fully translucent. So I'm pretty sure if you have very dark skin, this will leave a white cast, I'm afraid. And if you're any fairer than me, this is probably going to be far too yellow. But I think if you're like my skin tone up to like light medium, this will be a lovely powder. And I feel that this powder is exactly the same formula, or at least very close, to the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Filter, which I think is like more than like 30 times more expensive than this is, because this I think is like $3.50 at the drugstore. So this is what I mean, like Essence can be so hit or miss, which is why I love trying them out. And when you find a gem, it's always going to be like a dupe for a far more high-end product that is like and the Essence version is just a fraction of the cost and you want to go back to it the entire time. So yeah, this powder, I'm so happy I bought 3 in backup. If I can find more, I'll probably buy more. This is one of the best powders I've ever tried, and it's pennies. It's pennies. Secondly, in my top 5, we cannot talk about Essence without talking about the Essence Lash Princess. This is the False Lash Effect Mascara. I always just call it the Lash Princess in the green tube. So you need the one with the minty green sort of look to it. I think they have a purple one and a blue one, and there's a waterproof, whatever. This is the only one that I like. This is very similar to some high-end mascaras. The only downside to Essence mascara, and this is why, how cheap is it then? So sometimes products can seem cheap because when you buy it, it's not that much money. But this is one that warrants a lot of replacing because it dries out within 4 to 6 weeks of using it. Which I know with a lot of like more expensive mascaras, I swear by drugstore mascara myself, but I heard Michelle Wong saying this in a recent video where she was like, I find that my more luxury mascaras last at least like 6 months. This lasts you just over a month and then it's done. Then it gets really thick, very gloopy, and you can no longer use it. It becomes very flaky. With something like a Maybelline, I feel that happens around the 3-month mark, so that lasts about twice as long as these do. So I do feel that with the Essence, you do have to repurchase it continuously if you want to make this your holy grail mascara and you only want to use this. But it is really good. It's really lovely. It volumizes your lashes. I do use a Catrice mascara that is waterproof over it just to prevent any smudging. I do that with every mascara I use though. But this is a good, very affordable mascara for sure. Now this is where I sort of am going to have to eat some of my words when we're talking about the bottom 5, because I do have a concealer that I really, really love. This is the Essence Stay All Day 16-Hour Concealer. And I don't know how this happened, because this is a concealer that's been in Essence's line for like a decade. Like this hasn't changed. They haven't taken this off the market. I don't know what's going on with this. The only problem with this concealer, it comes in 2 shades and this is the darkest one. Like if this is perfect for me, then anyone darker than my skin tone will not be able to use this concealer unless you're looking for something very highlighty. I don't know. But I love the texture of this. It's a very lightweight, light coverage, very dewy on the skin concealer. It's so affordable. Is this my 3rd tube of this? I think I've already used this up twice. Like this is one of those concealers, the minute I use it up, I go back to the store and I repurchase it because it is that good. But here's where it's like, Essence, come on with the shades. Give us better shades, please. And you know, when I do a top 5 Essence products, that the product that has to show up is one of my all-time favorite brow products. It's the Essence Make Me Brow in the shade Blondie Brows. I've tried the Glossier, the Benefit, the Elf, I've tried so many other brow gels that people rave about and say are so good. And then I use this again and something just clicks. And I sort of panic bought like 5 of these in backup when I thought they were gonna discontinue this. So I still have plenty to come around. But yeah, the Essence Make Me Brow, man, it's my favorite. I just love how affordable this is. It gives the same effect as the Benefit. And where I struggle with a lot of my brow products to, like a mascara, I feel these like brow gel type of products can dry out or start to smell very weirdly very quickly for me, which is why I love this one, because this is the only one I could actually use up. Like the minute I need to stop using this is if I feel there's no longer product coming out. Whereas with other brow gels, I need to stop using them because they start to smell like turpentine. This never does that for me. So this it lasts a long time because I think it takes me like 4 or 5 months to use one up. It has that texture brow that I love with like a little bit of the fiber. The shade is great for me as well. Again, only 2 shades. Maybe there's a clear one by now. Maybe they've extended it a little bit, but for the longest time this only came in 2 shades, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, this is a really nice cool tone brow product, and it's a fraction of the benefit that it's duping, and I love it. But I think that if you're gonna go to Essence and you've never tried anything from them, definitely have a look at their blushes. Now I have 2 blushes here that are no longer available. But also the new blushes, which are called The Blush, have the same lovely formula. I just love these shades more than the shades I had in the ones that I bought from the Blush line that they do now. I have one of the old Matte Touch blushes. This is in the shade Blossom Me Up. In my most recent declutter, I did say that this was going to go into a Makeup Memories box. This is my favorite mauve tone blush from Essence. I just have so many mauve tone blushes that this has now run its course in my collection. But I want to keep it around because if I want to do a neutral look with all Essence products, then this is my go-to blush. And it was my go-to for a while because this actually had an embossing of little stars. Completely rubbed it down. So this is one of my most used blushes in my makeup collection for sure. Such a good one. It's just a bit old. And the other one is the Blush Lighter in the shade Peachy Dawn. This is a great blush highlightery sort of combo for a very nice glowy peachy look. I love this. I really, really do. So sad these have been discontinued, but they are really lovely. But like I said, Essence blushes. Yes, the packaging is cheap, but if you just want a good blush for every day that you can just use, and it's just as good as high-end, go Essence because their blushes are lovely. So that's it for me for today. That's my top 5, bottom 5 Essence products. I really hope you enjoyed watching today's video. Please give a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more by me. I make 3 new videos a week, so I hope you like. Stay tuned for more, and I hope to see you in my next video. Have a good day, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.